Hey everyone, so today we are going to be making Holly Wheeler from Stranger Things. I know she is a beloved character from the final season of Stranger Things. So we have the hood, we have the hair, we have the cape, as you can see, and then we have the dress and the little accessories, the little bow and this one here. So guys, that's what we're going to make today, our little Holly Wheeler. I hope you guys enjoy this one. Let's go check out the materials. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Alright, so for the yarn colors, the main colors are going to be this kind of brownish color for the hood slash cape. Then you will have denim blue, flesh pink, white, and this kind of a beige, like it's a darker beige for the body, the whole body section. This part you'll just use for the feet. If you don't have that color, just use a beige, it's fine. For the hair, you'll use a type of beige slash cream because she has that kind of that dirty blonde that hair, so you'll use that for that. And then when it comes to the little intricacies like this here, you'll just need a little bit of red and a tiny bit of yellow as well. Okay, so that is the yarn that I use. I do use 4-ply cotton yarn. And with that I use a 2mm hook, but you can use anywhere between a 1.75 and a 3mm hook with 4-ply or 5-ply cotton yarn. You can also use plush yarn, velvet yarn, whatever yarn you have with your corresponding hook size as well, because the pattern is universal. I might try and make some earrings with these. It will take ages, but I think it will look really cute. You'll also need a pair of cutters, a sewing needle, as well as some pins. These will come very much in handy, especially for holding the hair, the hood, and just little other things in place before you sew it. Then you will also need some 7 or 6mm black safety eyes, either one of those sizes. And if you're using plush yarn or bigger yarn size, you obviously need bigger eyes as well. And finally, you will need some fiber filling. And if you wanted to add a keychain, feel free to do that as well. If you did want to add a keychain, you could just add it right here, or you can add a yarn chain. And I've linked the video over here so you can see the yarn chain too. And that can come through here, and then you can also, with the yarn chain or the keychain, have it come through the middle here and then also through the hood if you'd like, or keep the hood removed. Okay, so those are the materials and let's get straight into it. All right, let's begin with the body. First of all, we're going to be making a magic ring, and inside this magic ring, oh, and by the way, if you don't know how to make a magic ring, go check out my beginner crochet tutorial playlist on the courses tab of this channel. All right, we are going to work 6 single crochet stitches inside this magic ring, and the type of single crochet stitch that I make is where the yarn comes underneath the hook first. We call that yarn under, and then the yarn goes over the hook second, or yarn over. And I've linked a video over here so you can see the different single crochet stitch types if you'd like to have a look at that. 4, 5, and number 6, just like that, we're going to pull the yarn tail to close, and then from here I'm going to continue to crochet by joining my ends with a slip stitch and chain 1. Now you can also crochet in a spiral if you'd like to. Spiral just means you begin the second round straight from here, directly making your stitch, instead of joining like I'm going to join with a slip stitch and chain 1 at the end of each round. Round number 2 is going to be working increases in each stitch space. So an increase just means you're working 2 single crochet stitches in the 1 stitch space. So I want you to make 6 increases all the way around. That means you'll have 12 stitches at the end of round 2. And for the final stitch in round number 2, so this is your last increase, but technically here we started the increased single crochet stitch here. Here's the last single crochet stitch. We have 2 loops on the hook, and it's at this point that we change our yarn color to white. So I want you to change your yarn color to white, then continue on in your spiral or join your ends by having these 2 yarn tails on top of the hook and work a slip stitch and chain 1. Then for round number 3, it's going to be single crochet stitch first, followed by an increase 1 and 2, and you can weave in these yarn tails for a couple of those stitches just to secure them further in place. And I want you to repeat that pattern, single first, followed by an increase all the way around. You will have 18 stitches at the end of round number 3. And at the end of round 3, we're just finishing on our last increase stitch, and you'll change the yarn color back to flesh pink, and then just work, either continue on in your spiral or work a joining stitch, which is the slip stitch, and chain 1. And I wove in that white yarn tail as I went. Okay, so from here, round number 4, we are going to start off with 4 single crochet stitches. So here's number 1, number 2, and you can have the white coming across just for a couple of those stitches. 2, 3, 4, and here is the 5th. And on the 5th one, I want you to change your yarn color to beige. And here we go. So here's this beige colored yarn, and we're going to pull that through. And from here, we're going to work something called a spike bubble stitch. So you need to wrap the yarn for the bubble, and then for the spike, you're not coming here, but you're coming 1 round directly below. So right here, enter the hook through, have those 2 yarn tails on top of the hook, pull the yarn up and pull through 2 loops. And just repeat that another 2 times. So come in, pull up, pull through 2, and wrap the yarn once more, come in, pull up, and pull through 2. And it's here that we will change our yarn color back to flesh pink, just like that. And then from here, you will work another 5 single crochet stitches in flesh pink, and for the first one, you'll have the beige colored yarn over the top of the hook. So here's number 1, 2, I'm not going to weave that in anymore, so 3, 4, and here's number 5, where I change my yarn color back to beige. And then from here, I will work another spike bubble stitch. So wrap the yarn, don't come here, but come 1 round directly below, have the flesh pink yarn on top of the hook, pull up the yarn and pull through 2, and repeat another 2 times. Wrap the yarn, pull up, pull through 2, 1 more time, wrap the yarn, come in, pull up, and pull through 2. 4 loops are on the hook at this point. I'll change my yarn color back to flesh pink, pull through all 4 loops on the hook, and continue on weaving in this yarn tail for at least the first stitch. There I make my single crochet stitch, and there should be 1, 2, 3, and number 6. So there should be 6 single crochet stitches there. Finish off with your slip stitch and chain 1, or continue in your spiral. And there we go, those are the 2 feet. Now for round number 5, it will just be 18 single crochet stitches in flesh pink, and on the 18th one, so the last one, we will change the yarn color and continue on. Coming up to the last stitch now, and here we change the yarn color to our white. So grab your white colored yarn, pull through those 2 loops to finish the change in color, and then make your slip stitch or continue on in your spiral, as I always say, and have the yarn tails over the top of the hook for at least the first next stitch or your slip stitch. Okay, so from here, you'll start off with, let's have a look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so 7 single crochet stitches in white, and this is where you're going to change your yarn color to denim blue, or that type of blue that she has for the dress, whatever you desire there. There we go. And then I'm just going to work 3 single crochet stitches, 1, 2, and here's the 3rd in blue. Change back to white, and finish the remaining stitches in white. And here we go. So we just finished that for this round right here, and now we are up to round number 7. Now round number 7 is going to be exactly like round number 6, except that we're working in the back loops only for the entire round. So back loop only, 7 single crochet stitches in white, then you'll change to that denim blue, and again back loop only, 3 single crochet stitches, and then finish the remaining single crochet stitches in the back loops with your white colored yarn. And that's all, guys. So that will be round number 7, and I'll see you at the end of round number 7. Now if you are bringing the yarn all the way from this side to this side, try and leave yourselves a little bit of yarn slack, and then you can weave that in for the next couple of stitches until you're happy that it is secure. So there's 2, here's 3, and then I'll grab this white colored yarn, pull through, and then the remaining crochet stitches, you don't need to weave in that blue for all of them, just 1 is enough. Sometimes it just pops on top of the hook, but I don't want to get it for all of them, so I'm going to do that again. I'm going to move that out the way a little bit, and here we go. So back loop only, finishing round number 7 in the back loops. There we go. So that is the end of round number 7 there. Now for round number 8, here is what we're going to do. Start off with this time 6 single crochet stitches in white. Let's see how many we've got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and here's the 6th one. Change the yarn color to your blue. Grab that, you can bring it from the other side, leave a little bit of yarn slack, and then weave this in as you go. You will crochet the next 5 single crochet stitches in this denim blue colored yarn. So here's number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. Okay, change back to your white. You can have a little bit of yarn slack here too, and then weave that in as you go, or just for at least the first single crochet stitch. There we go, and then continue remaining stitches in white for round number 8. Alright, so round number 9 is going to include some yarn color changes as well. Start off with 4 single crochet stitches in white. So here's 2, 3, and 4. I want you to change to flesh pink. This is why we didn't cut the yarn just yet with the flesh pink. Actually, we probably won't cut it at all because we need it for the head anyway. Okay, so we've woven that through. We've changed the color to flesh pink. I want you to make another spike bobble stitch. Remember how you did this? You're doing exactly that again. So wrap the yarn first. Don't come here, but come one round directly below. Have those yarn tails on top of the hook. Pull up the yarn and pull through 2 loops on the hook. Repeat another 2 times. Come in, pull up, pull through 2. And one more time. Come in, pull up, and pull through 2. 4 loops on the hook at this point. Change the yarn color to white and pull that through. Next, single crochet stitch in white, change then to your denim blue. Pull that through. Then another 5 single crochet stitches in denim blue. You can weave yarn tails in or not if you would like or not like, depending what you want to do there. So that's 2. I just have to be careful here. 3, 4, 5, change back to white, 1 single crochet stitch in white, change to flesh pink, and then wrap the yarn, another spike bobble stitch. So we're working in this stitch space, but one round directly below we'll have the white and denim blue yarn tails on top of the hook as we do this. Pull up and pull through 2, wrap the yarn, come in, pull up, pull through 2, and again wrap the yarn, come in, pull up, pull through 2, change your yarn color back to white, pull through all 4 loops, and the remaining stitches will be in white. Have those yarn tails on top of the hook for at least the first 1 or 2 single crochet stitches in white. So I've done 2 right there, so that's 2. We've got 3 more stitches to go. 3, 4, and 5. Keep your yarn color white. And that is round number 9 all complete right there. Round number 9 complete. Okay, round number 10. It's not too difficult. A couple of yarn color changes as well. Start off with a single crochet stitch, and then I want you to work something called an invisible decrease. So your hook comes through the front loop only, and then the front loop only again of the next stitch space. Pull the yarn through and pull the yarn through. That is called an invisible decrease. So let's repeat that pattern. Single first, followed by invisible decrease, front loop, yarn comes through, and here we actually change our yarn color to denim blue. By the way, you can cut the beige if it's just way in your way, because we don't need the beige anymore. So the denim blue is coming from completely the opposite side, so I do need to leave a little bit of yarn slack and weave this in as I go. Okay, so that was the invisible decrease, right? Single, decrease, single, decrease. So now I'm coming into this stitch space. Give this yarn tension a nice pull, have the yarn tails on top of the hook, single crochet stitch first, followed by front loop, yarn through, invisible decrease. Single again, plus another invisible decrease, front loop, yarn through, and change yarn color back to white. And then repeat another 2 times. So single invisible decrease plus a single, and finishing with an invisible decrease. And on this last invisible decrease, you actually change your yarn color to flesh pink. I'm going to finish my round with a slip stitch and chain 1. Okay, I do want to cut the beige. I'm also going to cut the white and the blue because we don't need those anymore. And from here we are just working with flesh pink colored yarn. Now you can weave in the white for the first couple. Now this is round number what was this? Round number 11. You're working in the back loops only for round number 11. You'll start off with a single and then work an increase. And repeat that pattern all the way around in the back loops only, single increase. You'll have 18 stitches at the end of this round. And round number 12 is going to be starting with a single crochet stitch, another single crochet stitch. So that's 2 single crochet stitches plus an increase, 1 and 2. There we go. I want you to repeat that 6 times in total, 24 stitches at the end of round number 12. Round 12 now complete. So for the next 4 rounds, rounds 13, 14, 15, and 16, you will just work 24 single crochet stitches. So guys, I'm going to let you complete those 24 single crochet stitches for the next 4 rounds, and we'll come back together at the end of round 16 or the beginning of round number 17. Alright, so round number 16 is complete. Here we're up to round number 17, and we will do it like this. 2 single crochet stitches first, followed by an invisible decrease. Remember, that's the front loop again, yarn through, and yarn through. And I want you to repeat that pattern all the way around. You'll have 18 stitches at the end of round number 17. Round 17 now complete. For round number 18, it will be fairly similar. Single crochet stitch first, followed by an invisible decrease. Yarn through and yarn through. I'll just show you once more. Single first, followed by invisible decrease, front loop, yarn through, yarn through. You have 12 stitches at the end of round number 18. Alright, so what we've done here is I've inserted the black safety eyes. We have 7mm black safety eyes that I've used here. You can also use 6, completely up to you. But essentially, we have these eyes placed between rounds 14 and round 15. So here's round 14, here's round 15. You could even move this one slightly here if you'd like. You'd have 2 and a little bit stitch spaces apart between, and they're kind of located in the center of the body as best as you can. But that is the completing touch of the eyes. So between rounds 14 and 15, and around about 2 to 3 stitch spaces apart, even with 6mm black safety eyes. Again, I've used 7 over here. All right, so those are the eyes. And then from there, what you'll do is you will add your fiber filling, but you'll do this in small layers. So grab a small layer at a time and just insert that through. And then from there, you'll use a pair of cutters or something that you have to really push it and condense / compress that fiber filling as you work it through the body. And you'll keep doing that in small layers at a time until you reach the very top of the head. So guys, I'm going to let you do this on your own, but just don't forget to compress that yarn every single time you add a small layer. You're really just filling it up and leaving no gaps. There you go. So we've just filled that up to the very top now. And in this last round, round number 19, we are just going to be working invisible decreases all the way and keep the yarn tension nice and tight, more so for this round compared to any other round, just because we've filled this one all the way to the top. So there's our second invisible decrease. Here is our third invisible decrease, our fourth, and here's the fifth. All right, so here's the 5th invisible decrease. And if you crochet in a spiral, you will actually finish right here, and you'll just work a slip stitch right here. But if you complete it with your slip stitch and chain 1, you will just work another invisible decrease. So that will be 6 invisible decreases altogether. And then you will work your slip stitch and pull the yarn through and cut yourselves about a 20 centimeter yarn tail to finish this off. And now we'll just close the gap at the top. All right, so from here we've got our yarn needle, and we're going to just work and weave this needle through the front loops of each of those remaining stitches in the last round. So there's 1, here's number 2, number 3, then here's number 4. You can see we're just going through those front loops. 5. Now for me there will be 6. If you crochet in a spiral there will actually be 7, but once you've gone through all of those front loops you'll pull it in a clockwise direction until you close the gap at the top, and then from there your needle will come right into the middle, and then you'll just come out into a stitch space where there is flesh pink colored yarn. Give it a pull until this is nice and flat. If you've got any bumps, kind of push it into the center to hide. And then from here we're going to weave over. Can you see these diagonals on each of the stitch? We're going to weave over them. So 1, here we'll just weave that, there we go, and we'll just continue weaving, and you want to weave about 5 to 6 times in total, and you can do more if you've got more of a yarn tail as well. But just make sure you're always going diagonally and you're never going horizontally or vertically or the other diagonal side as well. Just keep it all that one way, and that will just help you. So there we go, and maybe just one more to finish this off, and then it'll just come out somewhere else. And then with my pair of cutters I will just chop off the very top, and then just push this inside the head to hide. And there we go, that's the end of the body complete now. All right, we're going to begin now the dress portion. So we're going to flip this upside down, come to the back, and come to the front loop of, this should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is the front loop of round number 6. That's exposed. Remember we went in the back loops for round number 7. So these are the front loops of round number 6. And I want you to pull up the yarn by just pulling it through and then chaining 1. Now from here what we're going to do is we're going to start off with a single crochet stitch and weave in that yarn tail as you go. So single first, then the next front loop, have the yarn tail across the hook and work an increase. 1, and same stitch space with the increase, and just repeat that all the way around. So single first, plus an increase, 1 and 2, and I want you to complete that pattern all the way around, and then you'll make a slip stitch here and chain 1 once you finish that round. And here you can see I'm just finishing off with a slip stitch and chain 1. Okay, so for the next 2 rounds you're just going to work single crochet stitches all the way around, and again that's for the next 2 rounds, rounds 2 and 3. So I'll let you guys do that, and then at the end of round number 3 we will actually change our yarn color to white for that last round that we'll do together, round number 4. But in any case, rounds 2 and 3 are just the same single crochet stitches in every stitch space. And here we are, so we're just on round number 3 of this last round, and we're going to come in with a single crochet stitch, and then we'll grab our white colored yarn, pull this through to change the color, and then we'll come into the very first stitch space and have these 2 yarn tails over the top of the hook as we work this. And sorry, it is just a slip stitch. I don't know why I was starting to do a single crochet stitch. So slip stitch right there, chain 1. Okay, so from here what we will do is the following. We'll start off with 2 half. We're going to make half double crochet stitches all the way down this. So if you have a look, you wrap the yarn first and then you pull through all 3 loops, and again wrap the yarn, come in, pull through all 3 loops, and this time we will make a spike half double crochet stitch. So wrap the yarn, don't come here but come 1 row or round directly below, pull through, and then pull through all 3 loops just like that. And I want you to repeat that pattern, half double crochet, 2 half double crochet stitches plus a half double crochet spike stitch all the way around until you finish, and finish off with a slip stitch, and then we'll finish together. And here we are. So I'm just making a slip stitch to finish this off whilst pulling the yarn through, and I'll just chop a little bit because we'll need to weave this in to the back section to finish this off. And then with these two yarn tails, we already wove these in for a couple of these yarn stitches, so I'm just going to cut the yarn tails there, but we will weave this one in later on. But there we go, that is the end of the dress section. So now we do have the collar to go with our darker beige or even brown colored yarn. So let us get onto that part now. Alright, so with the collar, we're going to turn again our plush upside down. And then can you see these 4 front loops in the denim blue? So we have one here, and these are the front loops of round number 10, by the way. So 1 front loop, 2 front loops, 3 front loops, and 4. I want you to count from the top. So start from your right, 1, 2, and connect to the 3rd front loop right here. And then I just want you to grab your yarn, pull the yarn through, and once you've pulled the yarn through, I want you to chain 1, give your tail a little bit of a pull, and then you'll start in the same front loop and just work a single crochet stitch. There we go. There's a little bit of fluff that I was seeing the entire time. I wanted to get rid of it, but I didn't want to ruin the focus of the single crochet stitch. Okay, in the next front loop, you will work, so right here, you will work an increase and weave in that yarn tail as you go. Don't know why I'm struggling with this. Okay, over here, front loop, pull the yarn through, single crochet stitch, same front loop, another single crochet stitch, so that's your increase. And I want you to repeat all the way around in each of these front loops that pattern. So again, single, and just be careful not to nick your spike bubble stitch over here. So single first, followed by next front loop, and it will be an increase. And I'm not going to weave in. You can choose to either weave in that yarn tail further, or you know, it's done enough. So there we go. I'm going to continue on with that pattern all the way around. Again, single front loop only, single front loop only, next stitch space with an increase, 1 and 2. And just continue until you get right to this last stitch space, which will be an increase, and you're not connecting these 2 rounds. I'll show you what happens when you get here. So here's the last front loop, and I'm going to work an increase. So 1 single crochet stitch, same loop, 2 single crochet stitches. Now from here, I want you to chain 1 and turn. And now we are going to do the following: 2 single crochet stitches, 1 and 2, plus an increase. Come here and then work an increase, and you'll just complete that until you finish row number 2, and you'll finish with an increase right here. Okay, so I'll let you guys do that and we'll come back together. And here we are at the final increase. So coming right here in this stitch space, make sure you get in both the front and back loops. And here's the increase: 1, straight back in, and number 2. Then I'm going to cut the yarn tail and leave a little bit of a yarn tail, maybe like 7 centimeters. I'll end up weaving this in as well. And then with this one, we already wove this in, so we can just chop it immediately right at the back there. Okay, so that is the collar section now complete. Now what we want to do is start with, well, we're going to try and do the cape section, right? And it's super simple. It's just a lot of rows that we have to do. So I want you to turn the plushie once again upside down. Okay, so the plushie is upside down, and I want you to count. So from here on the left side, or technically this is stitch number 1, this is stitch number 2. On stitch number 3, I want you to come into the back loop only, just the back loop of stitch number 3. And then you're going to grab your yarn, same color. You're going to pull it through in that back loop only and chain 1. give your little tail a little bit of a pull, and then come straight back into that back loop only and just work a single crochet stitch. 1. All right, give this a little bit of a pull. And now in every single back loop, I want you to continue with single crochet stitches. It's a little bit awkward from me holding this in the way that I'm holding it, but back loop only single crochet stitches. So that's a back loop only single crochet stitch right there. Here's another back loop only, and I'm weaving in that yarn tail as I go, just for a couple of them. And maybe I'll like do like 5 or 6 that I'll weave in. Back loop only single crochet stitch. And I want you to continue until you get to, well, you can count from here. Here's the first stitch, second stitch. So once you get to the third stitch, that's where you will finish your single crochet stitch. So you've got 2 left over here and you've got 2 left over here. Here's my last back loop only single crochet stitch right there. Now I want you to chain 1, turn around, and continue on with that single crochet stitch. And again, you'll just continue that for row number 2, but this time you're working in both the front and back loops. And actually from here on out, you'll see on the screen how many rows I do of this many single crochet stitches. So follow what it says at the bottom there to complete your cape, and we'll come back right at the end. And there we go. So that's those 8 rows right there. And I'm going to pull this through. I'll chop myself about a 7cm yarn tail right there. And that is all. So what I need to do now is the one that I wove in, I'm going to chop. And for the rest of these remaining little yarn tails over here, we are going to weave them in. And that's it. So I'm going to weave them in now. I'll show you one example and then you guys can do the rest. So here's the white one. I'm going into the back. Just the back stitches. Just work my way through this. And once I'm happy that I've gone through about 7 of those little back stitches, I'll have the yarn tail coming through, and then I will pull it through just like that and chop the yarn to finish. Okay, so I want you to do the same with this one and then the same with this one as well. And there we go. So that's the end of the coat all the way around and the collar right there. So all right, so for the hair, we're just going to make a magic ring first. And after our magic ring, we will work 6 single crochet stitches inside. So here we go. 1, and I'll try and go a little bit faster since we've done most of this before. 2, here's number 3, 4, 5, and number 6. Okay, after this, you want to pull this yarn tail here to close the magic ring and pull that nice and tight, especially if you're using cotton yarn. And then come into the very first stitch space, and then just work a joining stitch, which is the slip stitch, and then chain 1 to finish that off. Okay, so round number 2 is going to be increases, and again, you've done this before with the body, so increases in every single stitch space, and you will have 12 stitches in total, so that's 6 increases in total for round 2. And then round number 3 is just going to be a single crochet stitch first, followed by an increase 1 and 2 single crochet stitches in the same stitch space. I want you to repeat that pattern all the way around, single increase for 18 stitches for round number 3. All right, so round 3 is now finished, and we have joined this end, but we haven't chained anything just yet because now we will start the hair strands. So for this first hair strand, we're going to chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. First of all, in the second loop from the hook, I want you to work a slip stitch. And then I want you, with the remaining loops here, of which there should be 8, I want you to work single crochet stitches. So 1, 2, and I'm not going to repeat this for every single hair strand, but you can get an idea. So that's 3. Here's number 4. So that's 4 single crochet stitches, 5, 6, 7, and number 8. Fantastic work. Now I want you to come in the second stitch space of round number 3 and just work a slip stitch, and then work one more slip stitch in the next stitch space as well. And then I want you to repeat this hair strand. So I want you to chain 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 with a slip stitch in the second loop from the hook, followed by 9 single crochet stitches down the length of this chain. 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and number 8. All right, so I want you to make a slip stitch in the next stitch space, and from here you will chain 9, then slip stitch and 7 single crochet stitches down the line for your third hair strand. And we've just finished that chain 9 hair strand. Come into the next stitch space, work a slip stitch, and from here I want you to chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 with a slip stitch as always in the second loop from the hook, followed by should be 6 single crochet stitches down the length of your hair strand until you finish. And there we go, just finish right there. So I want you to make a slip stitch in the next stitch space. Now for this one, it's a little bit different. What I want you to do is chain 17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And then I want you to pull the yarn through and chop the yarn. All right, so we're chopping the yarn over here. Give that a little bit of a chop. Good. Now from here, I want you to enter the hook into the next stitch space, and then I want you to attach this yarn by pulling it through, and then chain another 17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and pull through and chop. Now this time you enter the same stitch space, same one, and attach the yarn again. And you probably guessed it, we're going to attach the yarn first in that same stitch space and chain another 17. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and pull through, chop the yarn, and that's the end of the braid section. Now I want you to enter your hook through the next stitch space. You're going to attach the yarn. So attach this yarn right here and chain 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 with a slip stitch in the second loop from the hook, followed by 7 single crochet stitches down the length of this chain. 1, 2, 3. All right, so we've just finished that hair strand here. I'm coming into the next stitch space right here, and I'm going to work a slip stitch, but I want these yarn tails on top of the hook as I do that. So on top of the hook, those yarn tails, I'll make the slip stitch. And now what we're going to do is chain 9 again, and you want to do that for the next X number of hair strands, which I've written down the bottom. So just follow that, and you'll be working these chain 9s all the way for as many as it says down the bottom. And we have just finished all of those chain 9 hair strands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here's number 8. So what we're going to do here is work another slip stitch in the next loop. There should be 4 stitch spaces left. So here's the first one. So there we go. So that's the next stitch space that we're working. So from here we are going to again chain 17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Pull through and cut. There we go, that's one done. Come back and you'll work in the next stitch space right here. And this time you're going to attach the yarn and again pull the yarn through and then chain 17 again. 1, 2, 3, etc. So 17 is done, pull through and cut the yarn. And one more time, attach to the same stitch space, just as you did before, as in before over here. And then pull the yarn through and last time chain 17. And there we go, chain 17, pull the yarn through, chop the yarn. All right, so from here we enter our hook through here. I'm going to pull the yarn through, and this time I'm going to chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 with a slip stitch in the second loop from the hook, followed by 6 single crochet stitches down the length of the hair strand or the chains or loops. 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm doing this with you because I want to show you what you do when you get here. I want you to come into this next stitch space, and with all these yarn tails, I want you to weave them over the top of the hook and then work the slip stitch. Just like that. And from here, I want you to chain 9. This is the last hair strand, guys. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Slip stitch followed by 7 single crochet stitches in in those loops, not each of the loops, but in those loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and number 7. Okay, so we're actually finished all these hair strands. Now I want you to come into the very first stitch space of the round, have these yarn tails on top of the hook as you work your slip stitch to finish this all off. So slip stitch right here. Then I want you to pull the yarn through, and you can cut yourselves maybe like a good 40 centimeter yarn tail and make sure you're pulling it all the way through. And there we go. That is the hair strands all finished, or those are the hair strands all finished. So from here, what I want you to do is, can you see these yarn tails over here? You're going to cut them. And these yarn tails over here, you will also cut. There's one. These ones here, you're going to cut. And there we go. So that is the official finish of the hair, and you've still got your 40 centimeter yarn tail over here. All right, so that is the hair officially complete. All right, so when it comes to the hood section, what I want you to do is leave a little bit of a yarn tail, maybe like this much, 30 centimeters, and then make a slip knot. And I want you to chain 25. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. Okay, you want to start in the second loop from the hook, and you will work a single crochet stitch, and then you're going to continue going down the length of this chain, and in each loop you'll work a single crochet stitch. So at the end you will have a total of 24 single crochet stitches in your first row. Does that make sense? So in your first row you'll have 24 single crochet stitches. So I'll let you continue until you get to the end of the row. And here we go. Here's my last single crochet stitch right there. Then I want you to chain 1, and you're going to turn, and you do that at the end of each row anyway. And you're just going to continue with another 24 single crochet stitches for row number 2. And in fact, you will complete this until row number 14. So you're going to keep chaining 1, turn 24 single crochet stitches until you reach row number 14. So I'll let you guys continue that on your own. Don't forget, chain 1 and turn at the end of each row, and I'll see you at the end of row number 14. Alright, so we've just finished those 14 rows. Now, if you do need to extend, feel free to do that. It just might be a little bit difficult to measure it. But anyways, if you fold it like this, you should be able to see the length, and then pretty much, yeah, just determine it from there. But I have made 14 rows in total. Okay, so I haven't chained 1 just yet, but I have folded this just like this, and I'm going to have my hook come through the very first stitch space that is closest to me, and then the back one over here, and I'm just going to work a single crochet stitch just like that. And then I want you to continue with your single crochet stitches all the way down in both the front and the back stitches, all the way until you get to the end. And with the end, or the final stitch space, I'll show you as we get there. So here's another single crochet stitch. Here's another one, and make sure you're getting through both the front and the back stitches, as you can see there, front and back. Just like that. Here's another one, single crochet. Here's another single crochet. And here is where, well, I can make another single crochet stitch. Actually, this one I'm going to leave as my last one because it kind of is in this last little section here. So on the last one, I'll just make a slip stitch instead of a single crochet stitch. It doesn't really matter, even if you do work a single crochet stitch. And then you're going to cut the yarn, pull it through, and then what I want you to do is weave this yarn tail into these stitches to hide. So have a look at this. So I've got my little needle, and we're going to go through some of these stitch spaces. You can see we're kind of going through the back ridges. And you can work it one way first, and then you can come back down the other way to really secure it in place. Completely up to you how you want to do that. But come over here, pull it through, then weave this through. So that's one way. And then we're going to come back the other way. And pull through just like that. And then I'm going to cut the yarn. Oops. And then we still have this yarn tail over here, which is fantastic that we left this one here because we're going to use this to weave, or to sew, sorry, the head. But I want you to turn this inside out. And that's the way that that hood is going to be sewn on to the back of the neck when we get to it. But anyway, that is the hood. Hope you enjoyed this one. So here we go. I've pinned on the hood so it kind of reaches the front section. And then we've pinned it all the way to the back. And all I'm going to do is use this yarn tail. Lucky we left a long yarn tail. If you didn't, you'll just have to cut a long piece of a yarn tail, and you can start maybe here and then come up to do the hood. Completely up to you. And then you'll have the other yarn tail come back through that stitch, tie it in a double knot. But since we've just got the one, I'm going to come right here between the neck and the body section. And then I'm just going to come out over here, give this a pull, and it'll come straight back down into the neck section. The neck. I didn't say next. Take out the pin. Come into this section. And I'm just going to do as much as I can do. Kind of coming out to that last row as best as I can. Taking out the pins. And kind of just weaving it in place there. I can even, like, I don't have to go so many stitch spaces apart. By the way, as I do this, you can do this through every stitch space to really secure it if you'd like to. Completely, again, up to you the way you want to do this. And coming out over here. So where I will come through this last little section over here. Another pin. And I might work the opposite direction, coming backwards now. And there we go. So I'll come into a stitch space down here, and I'll just leave this for now. And when I get to the hair, I'll have the hair come out here as well, and then we'll tie those two together. Okay, so that's the hood nicely secure. I'm going to bring this down. Now I'm going to pin on the hair. Alright, so here's how we've pinned on the hair. So you can see this is strand 1 and this was strand 2 separated by that kind of that slip stitch in between. And then we have all those hair strands just pinned to the bottom. Now when it came to these 3 hair strands, I've pinned them right at the bottom and then pulled them towards the front. And it's the same with this side as well, so we're kind of keeping this symmetrical. We'll end up cutting these right at the tips later on, but for now just keep these at the front. And then we've pinned it all the way to the back, as you can see, and that is how we are going to sew this on. Now you can choose to glue on your hair strands if that's what you're used to as well, but for me I am going to sew each of these hair strands down, and we have to do this in a meticulous way as well. So what I want you to do is pull out a pin and have the yarn needle come through where that pin was. And then just give it a bit of a pull. Now from here, what you'll do is you'll come up one side of the hair strand, right towards the base. Take the pin out, come towards the back side of that hair strand, and then come straight back into that same stitch space, pull out the next pin, and have the needle come out where that next pin was. And then pull. There we go. So that's the first hair strand nicely secured there. Now for this next hair strand, we'll do them all exactly the same way. We come out one side, kind of through a little loop on the side, if you will. Pull that. And then to the other side, through the little loop section, come straight back into that stitch space, pull up this pin, and have the needle come through where that pin was as well. There we go. So that's the second hair strand nicely secured, and you're going to repeat this pattern all the way around. So again, coming through one side, come through the other side, straight back into that stitch space. Now when it comes to the pin with all of these 3 hair strands, you're going to lift it up, then you're going to come down right at the base where that pin was. It will be right down here at the base. Have this come through, now with these 3 hair strands, you have to have the needle coming through all 3 of them, roughly where that pin is. And you need to get through all 3 of them just to secure them in place. So there we go. And you can just come directly into that stitch space, pull out the next pin, and have the yarn needle go through that. And as you're pulling this one, be careful not to tie across your 3 hair strands, like to tangle them up. There we go. So that's what it will look like with these 3. And that is nicely secured then. And you're just going to repeat this pattern all the way around until you finish this last hair strand. Then we'll come and meet together at the top here. Alright, and so just at the top here, what we want to do is just sew around the crown section, which is like the outer circle of the head, as best as we can. So I'll just do it a couple of times. Again, this is optional. You don't need to do this if you don't feel like it's necessary. If you feel you're happily secure with the sewing that's already been done, then feel free to not do anything else. And I'm just going to sew around here a couple of times. I'll remove that top pin as well. And then maybe I'll do one more over here. For my last one, I'm going to come out over here. I'm going to chop this off. There we go. And then from here, I'm going to pull these towards the front. You can see this, right? And can you see like this little extra bit as well? I want you to chop this off. See if you can do it on a little bit of an angle. It doesn't have to be straight. Sometimes when you do this on an angle, it just looks better as well. But again, no perfect way. Okay, so once you're happy with that, we keep these towards the front, and then, oh, I forgot to weave the, whoops, that's okay. Okay, so pulling this hood over the top of the head. That way we keep these hair strands towards the front. Give it a little twist if you'd like. Or just kind of push it towards that front. Okay, so that is the hair officially on. So now we just have the bow and that little neck thing to go, and then we are complete and finished. Now, seeing as I really forgot about this, I'm just going to weave this through the body a couple of times, going back and forth between the same stitch space here, come out here. What I'm trying to do is tangle it in between the fiber filling to secure it, because I don't have another yarn tail to secure it to. So that's what I'll do with that. All right, so that's what we have so far. For that neck little thing, I'm going to chop about 30 centimeters worth of red yarn and pull 2 strands apart from my 4-ply cotton yarn. Okay, so from here I'm going to leave a bit of a yarn tail, about 7 centimeters worth. Make a slip knot and start off by chaining 1, 2, 3. What I want you to, and actually maybe 4, chain 4. Then I want you to come in the second loop from the hook and work a slip stitch, 1, plus another 2 slip stitches after this, 2, and here's the third. There we go. Chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then chain another 4. Hopefully I can make it. I might have cut 2, not enough. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hopefully I've got enough. Then in the second loop from the hook, work another slip stitch, 1. Then in the next loop, you'll work another slip stitch. There, I really didn't cut enough. So here's my next slip stitch. And finish with 1 more slip stitch. So this is the 3rd slip stitch. And then you are just going to pull the yarn through that loop. Okay. So there we go. And then once we fold this in half, we've got 2 yarn tails here. And these will kind of fold over each other. So it'll kind of look like that. And then we'll tie it in the middle with a little bit of yellow yarn. But we'll get to that in just a moment. So maybe we'll start sewing this on now. Okay. So I grabbed my doll. This is not going to be easy because I didn't leave myself much of a yarn tail. For you guys, please leave more of a yarn tail if you can. This is coming over here, so I'm going to go straight through this section. And actually, what I might do is just grab another piece of red yarn. Here, I'll use this one to sew. This might be easier, since I don't have a long yarn tail. Okay, so these 2 crisscross over like that. I'm going to put this right at the top here, and I'm going to weave in, maybe actually through, oh, I'll come out there. I'll start here. I'll come out in the center. I will go through the folded section there, and then I'm just going to come around here and then come back. And when I say continue on, I mean sewing through that again, just to secure it properly in place. You want this as secure as possible. So coming back here, I'll come out the other side. So that's twice. Maybe I'll do it one more time. And I'll come over here and out right here. There we go. Then I still have these 2 yarn tails to kind of work through as well. So what we'll do is I'll have 1 yarn tail eventually coming out here and 1 yarn tail eventually coming out here. So what I can do, I'll start off with this one. I'm just going to kind of weave back and forth in this section. And I don't mean for it to be a lot of sewing. It didn't need to be this much, especially if I left a long yarn tail. Sorry. I'll come back through here. It's kind of just weaving back and forth until I reach kind of the top, until I can go into the center. So here now I'm right at the center, and I'll come out here with this one. I'll just give you an example here. So I'm going to tie these in a double knot. These 2 can be cut, and I can push it into the body later on to hide. And then with this yarn tail, I'm going to work back up to the center and come out here. And here we go. So I've tied that in a double knot, chop. So I will hide this one inside the body. And then I will also hide this one inside the body on this side until nicely hidden away. There we go. All right, I still need to wrap this around with some yellow yarn, so I'll do that now. So I've just cut a little bit of yellow yarn, and I'm going to take 1 ply and pull that from the 4 strands in total. I'm going to pull this up here and then just tie a knot. Give it a pull. I'm going to wrap it around and wrap it around again, so that this time I'm right at the bottom. And at the bottom here, I will tie it in a double knot. And I made sure that I'm at the bottom doing this final double knot, by the way. So that's 1, because that way you won't see when I cut it. And here's 2. So then now that that's in a double knot, I'm going to cut right at the base here. There we go. So there we go. That's the little, whatever that is. I actually don't know what it's called, but that's what we have. And now I just need a bow to finish this off. So let's do the bow now. So I've chopped about 40 centimeters of yarn, and again, I will just remove 2 ply. Well, looks like we're doing it 1 at a time. So still remove 2 strands from the 4 strands. And then from here, I'll leave a little bit of a yarn tail. I'll grab this, and I'm going to be making a magic ring. Magic ring all done. From here, this is what we're going to do. We're going to wrap the yarn, come in and work 1/2 double crochet stitch, wrap the yarn, come in, work another 1/2 double crochet stitch, chain 1, slip stitch inside the magic ring, chain 1 again, 2 1/2 double crochet stitches, 1, here's the second, chain 1, make a slip stitch inside your magic ring, and pull the yarn through. Then pull this yarn tail until you close the magic ring. And now what I want you to do is keep this one towards the back, and this one will tie across the middle, or wrap around the middle, sorry. 1, 2, 3, maybe like 4 times. You don't want it too many because then it will look a bit strange. Then once you're at the back, you will tie these 2 together in a double knot. There we go, once and twice. Okay, now that you've got the double knot at the back, here's the little bow, and then from here I'm just going to use the yarn needle, or just the needle, to have this sewn onto the middle of the dress to finish. So you see this one already had, but I've got to do it to this one. So coming over here, we're right in the middle there, you can see that. So I'm going to try and find that middle section and have the yarn tail come through 2 of those stitches, because we're going to weave this back and forth. Then I want you to go through the back, through those yarn tails, give it a pull, and then come back through these 2 spaces again and pull. And we'll do it once more. Come to the back, come through those little wrapped yarn portions, come through, give it a pull, and then come straight back in, and you can come out anywhere in the body to finish that. Now with this one, you don't really have to do anything. You can just come straight here and then come out. If you wanted to secure it further, you could continue wrapping around and securing it, but in the opposite direction. Again, up to you. If you feel like it's secure enough, then you don't need to do that. Pull that. Okay, these 2 yarn tails will now, as you have seen before, once we've got 2 yarn tails in the same stitch space, we're going to tie them in a double knot and then cut above the knot. And with your needle, you can just push and pull it inside to hide. Alright, so we have the bow, we have the hair, we have the hood, we have the cape. Everything is fantastic. I've left the bag out just because this is a mini version, so we'll leave that. But guys, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. This was a long one, but it was a fun one, and I know you guys can make this too. I will see you in the next one. Thanks guys, bye.